Hey there, good afternoon. Welcome to your 4 to 5. I'm Maddie Gardner. We have Jalen Gilkey and Lauren Coleman in studio, and if you peek between them, yeah, there he is. Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley also hanging out with us today.
Lots to talk about today, including the weather, right?
Yeah, I mean, for now, we're just kind of watching, and I'll tell you, the wind is blowing around and things are changing a bit outside. Yes, the name of the game is still wait and see because we've had a lot of storms to the south and to the east. We've had some to the west, but most folks in the Triad haven't really had a lot of action today, but the day is still young. I want to show you what I'm seeing on radar. First off, let's just look at the sky camera in Greensboro. Notice those darker clouds starting to kind of build in at the moment. It's muggy, it's breezy, and of course it's a bit warm as well. Take a look at the flags in Burlington, really pretty stiff with the breeze right now, and it is raining. Alamance County has had some of the rain, and I like to say with summertime storms, there are usually winners and losers, just in the sense of who gets the rain and who doesn't. This has been the big gap throughout the day, much of the Piedmont, but look at all this rain. It's been raining almost all day long from Raleigh areas south and east of there, and now we're seeing this expand a little bit. So Randolph County, you're still getting it, but take a look over here. In Davidson County, there's Lexington. We're just to the north of you near Thomasville, right along Business 85. It's pouring. At the moment, that is moving to the northeast. Asheboro, you're getting rain again. Much of the day it's been that for you. Alamance County, some nice gentle rain. That's good to help those drought concerns. Starting now to find some storms to the west as well. Now, of course, the question is, well, what about me? When do I get it? Well, take a look here to the west. We still follow this line of showers in Tennessee. That's not going to move through until overnight. So there's opportunity, but until that gets here, for more rounds of kind of scattered showers, scattered storms to form for the evening, and also for those overnight hours. Even into early Friday morning, we could get a little bit of rain activity. I think we'll be dry once we get past 11 o'clock tomorrow. In the meantime, I'll be watching the radar for you, let you know if any storms get strong or severe.
All right, Tim, we'll check in with you a little later, but one of the top stories of the day today, legendary Duke University basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski spoke about his decision to retire.
Right, yesterday the university announced that this upcoming basketball season would be his last, but today he explained why.
WFNY News 2's Luke Liddon joins us live from Durham with more on the coach's reasoning. Luke.
Yeah, it's still a little surreal to be standing here inside Cameron Indoor Stadium talking about Mike Krzyzewski's eventual retirement. But when he spoke to the media earlier today, it was with absolute grace. It was eloquent, along with expressing his gratitude for how far he's come throughout his entire coaching career. And of course, it was quite the entrance for Coach K. It was really a salute to the Cameron Crazies as he made his way into the press conference dancing to Every Time We Touch, along with his family taking in on the action. Duke fans know the meaning behind this moment, and like Coach K said himself, today is a celebration. He later touched on the reason behind his decision to retire after next season.
This is not about health. Mickey and I, whether we look like she does, whether I look healthy, I am. It's not about COVID or saying, boy, that year was so bad. It's certainly not about what's going on with college basketball. The reason we're doing this is because Mickey and I have decided the journey's going to be over in a year. And we're going to go after it as hard as we possibly can.
You know, I wish we could watch that introduction to the press conference on loop, right? It was just too good. I was a little caught off guard when I first saw that, but it definitely lightened the mood a little bit as we led into Coach K's press conference. And coming up at 5 o'clock, we'll hear from a Greensboro native who grew up as a Duke fan, loved the Blue Devils his entire life, and now he had a chance to work alongside Coach K for the past 10 or so years. We'll hear his story coming up at 5 o'clock, so be sure to keep it right here on WFNY News 2.
All right, Luke, thanks so much. Of course, big news, and that means Duke fans, basketball fans really have been expressing their reaction to Coach K's retirement online.
But some of Coach K's former players have commented on social media as well. So let's take a look here. Upon hearing the news yesterday, Jason Williams tweeted, "I can't even find the words to describe how I feel about all of this right now. It's a lot to take in for a man that changed my life in so many ways."
Carlos Boozer said, "Always the teacher, always the leader, always the mentor, always our coach." And Sheldon Williams said, "Thank you for letting me be a part of your story. Hashtag leader, hashtag mentor, hashtag legend." Hashtag greatest coach of all time.
Oh, and Jay Billis simply said this is going to be the toughest act to follow in college basketball history. Now, of course, we'll have more on Coach K's retirement and reaction in our later newscasts and on our website, WFNYnews2.com.
Let's take a look at the other headlines today in your 4 to 5 roundup. Caps and gowns will have to stay in the closet a little bit longer in Rockingham County. 2 graduation ceremonies that were scheduled for today So we were saying 2 graduation ceremonies that are scheduled for today in Rockingham County are now going to happen tomorrow. Those are Moorhead and McMichael High Schools. They moved the ceremonies because of the threat of severe weather this evening. So that means all 4 traditional high school graduations in the district will be tomorrow at 7:30 in the football stadiums. Now let's talk about the video you are seeing on your screen. The High Point Furniture Market is back this weekend after a canceled spring market in 2020 and a modified market in the fall. The showrooms are going to open on June 5th and stay that way through June 9th for furniture buyers and industry experts. They are expecting the usual large crowd in the Furniture City. Pre-market last month drew a lot of interest. People who need help feeding their families will be able to get help through the state all summer long. The pandemic EBT food assistance program will continue. This extension will provide $450 million to more than 1 million families and kids in North Carolina. Eligible children will get a one-time payment of $375. That's set to cover the entire summer from June through August. You can see if your household qualifies by going to the state health department's website. And more incentives to get a COVID vaccine. Now Kroger is offering people who get the shot the chance to win $1 million in groceries for a year. The sweepstakes is a collaboration with the Biden administration to reach herd immunity in the U.S. So starting next week, Kroger will offer the big prize as well as free groceries for a year to 10 other winners. Since December, Kroger says they've given out more than 4 million doses of the vaccine, and early this year, they offered employees a $100 bonus to get vaccinated.
And in North Carolina, Guilford County is one of 4 counties offering people cash cards as incentives to get their shots. If you get your first vaccine at the Greensboro Coliseum or StarMed vaccine locations this week, you'll walk away with $25. While many say it's a good deal, they say getting the word out is key.
If it's advertised on Facebook and people just share that, people will see that more. I think once people know about it, it'll be a hit.
You can also get $25 if you drive someone to get their vaccine. This offer runs through Tuesday, June 8th. And I want to show you how our state's coronavirus data is improving county by county. So these maps show how each county is doing in the state's county alert system. The orange map color is the worst on the map, and the lighter yellow is better. And then the green is the best. Now the map on the left is from a month ago. The map on the right is the most recent. First, we want to point out there aren't any red counties, which is the most severe. And then you'll notice the most recent map has 5 green counties. That is great so far. So you'll notice there's far few orange ones on the map as well.
While there is hope on the vaccine front now, many families across the state are still struggling because of the pandemic. So the HOPE program, they offer rental assistance to people in need, and they're now accepting applications for a second round. Payments started going out on June 1st, and 924 checks worth $1.1 million have already been mailed out. Today at 5:30, we are going to have experts with the HOPE program joining us to answer your questions. You can ask them anything you'd like. All you have to do is text your question to 379-5775. Well, we are just 50 days from the start of the Summer Olympics in Tokyo. Today, organizers unveiled the podiums, costumes, and music that will be used during the medal ceremonies. How cool is that? But they do face a slight setback. 10,000 of the 80,000 volunteers have dropped out. Some dropped out because of concerns about COVID. Others say they dropped out because they found it would be difficult to actually work while volunteering. The 4 to 5 is heading to break. You can find us on Facebook right now. We'd love to chat with you there. Welcome back to your 4 to 5. North Carolina A&T received some very high praise recently.
Last week, U.S. News and World Report put out their top 100 MBA program rankings, and the Aggies were on that list with some of the most prestigious schools in the country.
WFMY News 2's Jalen Gilkey, our own Aggie here in studio, learned more about the MBA program.
And how North Carolina A&T grads are flourishing in the workforce.
Well, whenever your university is mentioned with the likes of Stanford and Harvard, you know you're doing something right. And that's the case for the MBA program at North Carolina A&T. Today I spoke with two of the many people responsible for the evolution of the Willie A. Deese College of Business and Economics.
Our Office of Career Services, our graduate college, and the Deese College really work very, very well together to really undergird our students and really make sure that their first destination, their career placement, is a high priority for us.
According to a U.S. News and World Report article, the Willie Deese Business School ranks 96th in the country and number 2 amongst HBCU business programs.
I really think that A&T is a special institution where the faculty really care about student success, and they really wrap their arms around the students and ensure that they have a quality experience.
Dr. Eric Gladney and Dean Clay Gloucester are two of the people responsible for the most recent success of the MBA program. Once a student graduates this MBA program, in their first year, on average, they bring in north of $77,000 a year. And 94% of graduates find employment within 3 months of graduation, besting Harvard and Stanford.
See, it's a combination of the academic rigor that we have here within the curriculum of the MBA program, integrated with the nurture that we give our students.
The graduate school at North Carolina A&T is still taking applications for this upcoming fall semester. The deadline is July 1st, so it's not too late to become part of one of the best graduate programs in the country.
Very impressive stuff going on at A&T always, but especially when you say that they're ranked among these top schools that everyone knows about. It's truly some good stuff that's happening over there, and to have an MBA is just top notch.
Absolutely. I think this also sheds a lot of light on HBCUs in general. I was reading from this program that they're able to place most of their graduates within 3 months after graduation. So it shows it really is a rich education, that they work hands-on with the students to make sure that they're successful.
In the last 2 classes to graduate from this MBA program, 96% of the students were placed with at a job within 3 months of graduation. So just great turnout and great turnover there at the program.
And I know that we've talked about this before, actually this week, just about university programs attracting a workforce here in the Triad. So if A&T is turning out such high-level MBA graduates and getting them placed in companies, maybe those companies will start coming to the Triad to set up shop.
That would be great.
All right, the 4 to 5 is heading to break. We're live on Facebook right now. If you'd like to chat with us, share your thoughts about the news today or whatever's going on, we love to hear from you.
It's Friday Junior. Come have some fun.
Yes, it is.
Let's go.
Welcome back to the 4 to 5. Stanford University researchers are taking a look at the health benefits of virtual reality for older people. Stanford's Virtual Human Interaction Lab is working with 1,200 people in a Florida senior center. They're testing if virtual reality can improve moods, strengthen relations with staff, and help seniors get accustomed with technology. Researchers say previously published data shows virtual reality can lower anxiety and reduce pain. So the hope is that participating seniors will feel less isolated from the outside world. Researchers also want to see if the technology can help dementia patients who suffer from sundowning. That's a state of confusion that usually happens at dusk. Seniors will only be able to participate if they give their consent, agree to a screening to make sure they're healthy enough, and if staff members monitor the use of the headsets.
In Italian, scientists are developing a tool they hope helps patients diagnosed with mental health disorders. It's a robot that can detect emotions. Ian Lee introduces us to Abel.
Abel is learning to smile, snarl, and frown. 20 motors under his artificial skin give the robot emotions just like us. Engineers in Italy hope someday Abel will be a friend for people with behavioral, social, or cognitive disorders like autism or Alzheimer's. This researcher says we want Abel to know how people are feeling, to keep them healthy, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. To make Abel look eerily real, engineers teamed up with special effects artist Gustav Hogan. His company has created animatronics for Hollywood hits Star Wars and Jurassic Park. Right now, someone has to wear sensors for the robot to recognize their emotions. The next step may seem like something out of science fiction.
To give Abel a human brain.
With the help of tissue taken from stem cells.
Organoids are basically an aggregate of stem cells which self-assemble and self-organize to resemble the structure and function of a mini human organ.
Scientists say that would allow Abel to read our expressions all on his own. And if they're successful, expect the team and Abel to look a bit smug. Ian Lee, CBS News.
I just feel like that's how every movie starts out, where robots end up ruling the earth. So I don't know about this.
That's what I was thinking as well. I think technology is cool. I think this is a good idea, but it kind of creeped me out how real this robot looked, and when it smiled and frowned. That's kind of creepy.
I just want to know the depth of the technology that has to be attached to this robot to be able to sense human emotions. I don't know if, like you guys, I don't know if I like where this is going. I'm a big fan of iRobot, the movie, so I've seen
exactly the movie
how
I was
this
thinking
could go
about.
bad, but you know.
It's like once we start giving computers emotions and the ability to like have human brains, maybe a line needs to be drawn.
Yeah.
I don't know. If it helps people, I want to know more about that, because that would help me make a more educated decision on this. But Abel is out of my house for now.
We need to do a deeper dive as to how helpful and how this can help people.
Yeah.
I mean, that first shot when it was on the face, I was like, no, that's a human.
No, it's not. It's
and
a
it's
robot.
supposed to look like a 12-year-old boy.
Okay.
Like that's the goal they're going for.
That's not creepy.
I don't know why that age.
I think it's supposed to look more, I don't know, friendly. I was reading about it, but they said they were striving for like a 12-year-old boy.
Interesting. Tim, what do you think? Robots?
I'm gonna stick with not robots. Let's go with the humans, right? Hey, whatever works. Hey, I just actually spend a lot of the day telling computers that I'm not a robot. You don't have to pick those stop sign pictures. It's a pain in the butt. Let's show you the rain, though. This is happening right now in Greensboro. Clouds are getting darker. The showers are moving in, and I say showers. These are not showers. These are downpours for certain. Not for me at the moment. I'm just dealing with a little bit of light rain here in the News 2 Weather Garden. You see this? A line of downpours has blossomed right along I-85. So let's give you a tour of this right now. The busiest rain in Greensboro is on the north side of town. This is Wendover Avenue going up 29. Very, very heavy rainfall. No lightning in this yet. Coming down real hard from Sedgefield to Jamestown to High Point, and still pouring near Thomasville. This could put down a lot of rain very quickly. We're also seeing storms popping up in the western foothills. None of these are severe or strong at the moment, but that could change over the next couple of hours. Continue to keep an eye out and do not leave home without the rain gear. We have that risk of severe weather through tonight. I'm going to get inside. We'll be right back after this.
So Maddie, tell me this, have you ever found yourself stuck?
Both in traffic and between a rock and a hard place.
Well, many times people find themselves stuck, you know, stuck in relationships maybe that don't satisfy, and stuck in jobs that they hate.
I see where you're going with that one. But being stuck, you know, it really is a mindset that can imprison us.
Yes, and on today's U Day, Coach Lamont helps us to break through so we can make it through.
You will never get a breakthrough until you are willing to break through. Break through from your past, break through from the pain that once held you captive, break through from the mistakes that have taken a toll on your life. We have all made mistakes. We have all fallen short of the goal. But you, my friend, can no longer hold a mistake over your head, constantly punishing yourself. See, the thing about a mistake is we are to learn from them. We are to treat mistakes as life lessons, lessons that warn us of consequences if we do this, having understood that we don't want to re-experience pain that mistake brought. But we must be willing to allow mistakes to become wisdom and not a warden. Never allow something you've done to hold you in a mental prison. You've already been stuck. It's time to come out. You learned. Now break through. This is Coach Lamont reminding you to have your best U-Day. I'll see you tomorrow.
It is really so true how often our mindset is what's causing the problem.
And also when it comes to mistakes, like we're human, we're gonna make them, just make sure that you don't make them again.
Yeah, and as a perfectionist, that is really
It is
tough to
hard.
actually do, but I think it is better for everyone if you just move through the stuckness.
Just learn from it, make sure you don't do it again.
Always wise words from Coach Lamont.
Yes, we love them. Come hang out with us on Facebook. We'll be back after this break.
Jalen, what are you doing?
Hey, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Mic check. Mic check.
Fred? No, come on, IFB. Do your thing. Do what you're supposed to do. Hi, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. They forever go together like a classic combination.
Good afternoon, welcome back to our 4 to 5. Maddie, Jalen, Lauren, all here at the table today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. It's almost Friday, so I'm feeling
Friday
good about
Junior.
that. Friday Junior.
Jalen's been bragging because he says today is my Friday.
Listen, I forgot. that it wasn't Friday. Y'all have fun.
We'll miss you.
It's okay.
We definitely will. It will
I'll
be
see
the same.
You can log on the Facebook chat
Oh,
even when you're on
there we go,
vacation
there we
and
go.
talk to us. And if you're at home right now, you can log onto the Facebook chat and do the same thing.
Yeah, because we do have a lot to talk about today, especially out in the sports world. One of the top stories of the day today.
Before we do that one, though, we do want to check in with meteorologist Tim Buckley. Let's check in on the weather first.
Oh yes, now I am indoors. There's always a reason for that. We have the rain coming down in Greensboro. We also have some thunder and lightning. So definitely practice what we preach. When there's thunder, lightning outside, you go inside. That's the way you stay safe. Take a look here. You can see through some of the rain in downtown. Very low cloud tops today, tropical looking clouds, and indeed lightning is being reported at PTI Airport. Take a look. This all popped up in the last 15 to 20 minutes. Things happen quickly on days like today. None of this is severe, by the way, but there's a ton of rain, a lot of lightning, and some of that thunder as well. Let's zoom right into street level downtown. There's Elm Street, Wendover here, Gate City there. This is light to moderate at the moment, but coming down in some spurts for sure. Now we're by I-40. This is over near Wendover Avenue as well, right there near the urban loop. And boy, is it coming down right there near Adams Farm, Sedgefield area. Very heavy rainfall. Similar story down by Jamestown, High Point as well. Seeing a lot of that heavy rain, and it's still coming down right around by Thomasville. This is not moving much, so you could actually pick up upwards of 1 inch of rain in the same spot, whereas your neighbors get really nothing just a couple miles away. Similar situation now in the foothill communities. We have a couple areas to watch. One over here, one new one there, and still plenty of rain to the south and to the east. Just hang tight if you haven't gotten anything yet. Eventually tonight, you probably will. Scattered showers and storms will continue through the rest of the evening, but especially in the overnight time frame. I'll leave you with this. Take a look. That's around midnight tonight. We could still see more rain popping up across the area. It'll start to get out of here by the middle of the day tomorrow. So I think by lunchtime Friday, that's when we're saying goodbye to the rain and welcoming in a pretty dry weekend.
All right, now let's get back to that news in the sports world. One of the big stories today, Duke University's head basketball coach Mike Krzyzewski discussed the reasons he's decided to step down.
After coaching at Duke for 41 seasons and leading the Blue Devils to 5 national championships, he said it's just time.
WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson has more on the reasons. Amanda, can you break this down for us?
Unfortunately, nobody can be a coach forever, even the winningest coach in college basketball, Duke's Mike Krzyzewski. But he will coach one more season. He says he's making the announcement to retire now to be transparent about the future of the program. He says he's not calling it a career because of his health, COVID, the changes with college basketball, or the Blue Devils' tough season. Coach K says he's been talking about this day with his family for a few years now. It got serious over the last 8 weeks. But Coach, how do you know that this is the right time to make a big decision?
I always felt that you would know when to stop if you weren't ready to do all the things necessary to do what you do. Like you have to do a lot of things before you do what you do.
For Coach K, before he gets here, he has to do a lot before a game. He has to practice, watch film. He doesn't want to do those things much longer. Instead, he wants to spend that time with his family and specifically watch his grandchildren's games.
Thanks, Amanda. And of course, we'll have more on Coach K's retirement news coming up in our evening newscast and on WFMYnews2.com.
In the meantime, let's take a look at the headlines in your 4 to 5 roundup this afternoon. Another familiar face is also stepping down after this year in sports. Mick Mixon, the voice of the Carolina Panthers, announced his plans to retire after the upcoming Panthers season. Mixon has been the voice of the Panthers for 17 years and says even after he retires, he'll still serve as a de facto ambassador for the team. Mixon actually plans to spend his retirement with his wife, Ina. They are renovating a home in Alamance County. Starting tomorrow, the general public can get up close and personal with even more endangered species at the Greensboro Science Center. Today, they held a ribbon-cutting ceremony for the $15 million expansion project, Revolution Ridge. It features 9 new animal exhibits, including flamingos, an endangered bird species, and pygmy hippos. The expansion comes with an increased admission cost to support new jobs, animals, and infrastructure. Starting tomorrow, Guilford County's parks will open all aquatic centers at full capacity. Burmill Park, Hagenstone Park, and Northeast Park pools will be open 7 days a week. Now, the county is not selling memberships this weekend. Admission will be $5 a person. Officials say to avoid large crowds, guests should try to come during non-peak weekday hours. And members of North Carolina's NAACP are in Washington, D.C. to meet with the Department of Justice. They're taking a petition regarding transparency in the Andrew Brown investigation to the Attorney General. Among other things, it requests federal and state legislation for police accountability and reform and investigations into the Pasquotank County Sheriff's Office and District Attorney Andrew Wompel's office.
And after more than a year of being shut down as a memorial, Minneapolis Public Works crews started dismantling the George Floyd Memorial today. The move came as a surprise to many community members as the city attempts to reopen it to traffic. The city is working with a community group known as Agape as they reopen the square. The group says it plans to carefully preserve everything at the intersection in Floyd's honor. Minneapolis police are not involved in the effort to open the intersection to traffic. And there's new information on 2 more recent cyber attacks. These attacks targeted New York City's subway system and a ferry service for summer resorts in Massachusetts. They come after an attack on meat processing company JBS this week. JBS owns dozens of brands and is still trying to get fully up and running. The FBI attributed that attack to a Russia-linked ransomware operation. Experts say until someone can disrupt the profitability of the ransomware business model, the events are going to keep happening.
As summer approaches, it really is time to find your sunscreen.
But have you ever pulled out a bottle and thought, I wonder how old this is?
Every single summer. WFMY News 2's Megan Malares verifies if sunscreen expires.
That sound means it is time to verify. It's the first week of June and Mother Nature is forcefully letting us know summer is here early and here to stay. As you whip out the flip-flops and tanks, don't forget to dress your skin for the weather too.
Hey Megan, this is Lori, your WFMY News 2 director, and I had a verified question for you. Does sunscreen expire? If it does, is it still safe to use once it has expired? My sunscreen that I used expired, it says, in 2019. So could you verify that if or not sunscreen is safe to use after the expiration date? Thank you.
Our sources for this are the Food and Drug Administration, Consumer Reports, and the Mayo Clinic. They agree, yes, sunscreen expires, but the shelf life is generous. The FDA requires all sunscreens to have an expiration date unless manufacturer testing shows the product is safe and fully effective for 3 years. Consumer Reports testing showed sunscreen stored at room temperature is effective in this 3-year window, even if you've opened it. But if you try to use it after that 3-year mark, it might have weakened effectiveness. So this one gets a check mark. It is true sunscreen expires on the printed expiration date or 3 years after the purchase. Since Director Lori's sunscreen has a printed expiration date of 2019, she should throw it away. Here's a future tip. If you buy a sunscreen without an expiration date, use a permanent marker to write the purchase date. But regardless of dates, if your sunscreen ever changes color or consistency, err on the side of caution and toss it. Thanks, Lori, for this question. You can submit a selfie video of your question to verify at WFMY.com. Include any relevant links or pictures.
All right, this is what I was doing last night, holding my nose, gulping down a glass of water, all in an effort to get rid of my hiccups. Yes, okay, this worked for me last night, but I posted it to see what other people might do to get rid of their hiccups. So folks at home, we welcome your remedies on Facebook, right? But friends here, I want you to tell me your tricks.
My dad always said to change your breathing pattern. Okay. So like pant. Okay. You like that at home? Me panting in the microphone? It's a little weird.
Okay.
I have my own unique thing that I do. I actually do like a hard cough, and it gets the hiccups out.
Okay.
It bothers people, but it works for me.
Okay.
A lot of bodily noises happening here.
Great. I mean, it's a bodily function-ish kind of thing. All right, Jalen, you're going to take a stab at this.
So this is my thing.
Okay.
I usually try to hold my breath for 10 seconds, and then I inhale, and then I hold my breath for 10 seconds again, and then I inhale again,
Oh.
and then I see what happens.
Okay. a lot of that. Okay, there are lots of kinds of tricks. Here are some of my favorites from my Facebook and Twitter pages. All right, so drink Coke, says Francis. I guess that's to burp because that was a theme going on. Bonnie told me to eat a big spoonful of grape jelly. Patricia brought up the whole spoonful of sugar, and Shay said, you know, do the hiccups like a burp, like you should swallow air. Now, this was one of my favorites. Peanut butter. I'm all about the peanut butter. So yeah, a spoonful of peanut butter. I don't know. Okay. Drinking water on the other side of the cup to swallowing fast 3 times. All right. So when you Google how to get rid of hiccups, there's no hard and fast way. There are many different kinds of remedies. You can see like a whole list when I Googled here, all right? Even pull on your tongue. Ugh. There's no scientific cure here, folks, okay? But everyone agrees on how hiccups happen. This is from the Mayo Clinic. Hiccups are caused by involuntary contractions of your diaphragm, and that's the muscle that's right in between like your chest and your abdomen. The diaphragm plays an important role in your breathing. What irritates your diaphragm? Well, anything from carbonated beverages to eating too much to sucking in air when you are like sucking on a hard candy. Fine. All right. So friends, here's what I say. All right. If you saw it on the Mayo site, it says you could possibly have hiccups for 48 hours. And that's when you should go to the doctor. I cannot even imagine.
I saw like that a man had hiccups for like 68 years.
Oh,
68 years.
And that wasn't on like Grey's Anatomy or something?
No,
like that
it's
was
a real thing. I promise you.
For reals. All right. What do you think, Jalen?
If I have hiccups for longer than like 3 minutes, I am furious.
Right.
Like, I'm not even like pleasant anymore.
You know, it's funny because you always got hiccups like as a kid for some reason, right? But when you get them out as an adult, you're like annoyed by it. You're like, seriously?
It's inconvenient.
It is inconvenient.
And it's horrible when it happens on TV.
Yes.
Yeah. Tim, can you relate?
Yes, it sometimes happens to me if I have enjoyed too much. Maybe I've had too many beverages, let's say. Hey, let's take a look. Downtown Greensboro, lots of rain have been happening. That's starting to actually cycle down a little bit. What I mean is it was really coming down. Now it's a little bit lighter. We're just seeing some moderate showers downtown at the moment. Before it was a downpour, it's kind of running out of moisture to put down. So that's good news. We shouldn't see too much more in the way of that rainfall over the next half an hour. We'll watch it for you. Thomasville is having the brunt of it right now. Farther to the west, this line gaining steam. We're in Surrey County, Stokes County, and up into Patrick County, Virginia. A lot of rain at the moment. And again, these are kind of moving over the same areas. So there are a lot of folks that might get a lot of rain, upwards of an inch. Others that might not get a drop. We'll be keeping an eye on the radar for you the rest of the afternoon and into this evening here on News 2. Stay with us.
Welcome back to your 4 to 5. The demand for healthcare professionals is growing, and many reports predict a dire shortage in just a matter of years. It's why the Wake Forest School of Medicine and Northwest Area Health Education Center organize Camp Med each summer to expose kids to the profession early. I spoke with Melanie Mills, the program director, about the opportunity that's drawing interest from around the world.
We had India, Mexico. We had about 6 different countries last year that some kind of way it found its way to them. Usually by looking on the Wake Forest website, they'll find it.
Melanie Mills is talking about finding an opportunity for teenagers to invest in their future over the summer. Camp Med acts as an introduction to a career in healthcare.
We have figured out that exposure is the key that affects futures. So children can, if they don't know about it, they can't learn about it. So what we do is expose them to things that they may not have ever seen or heard about before in the fields of health.
There is a growing need to get people to enter the field. A report by the Association of American Medical Colleges predicts a shortfall of more than 100,000 doctors by 2030. They contribute the shortage to a couple of factors, including an aging population, retiring workforce, and increase in chronic diseases. Mills says she sees the deficiency in our area.
You know, we go into a lot of our rural counties and find that, just finding CNA, certified nursing assistants, is difficult. They are in such high demand because their people are needing them so desperately in hospitals and nursing homes. And the jobs are open, but there are no students to fill those positions and no people to fill those positions. So what we're doing is exposing and working with our school systems and with our hospitals to make sure that we're meeting those needs.
So the event is virtual once again this year. Now, last year, Mills said she expected like 5 students to join in on the virtual sessions, but 900 did. So it's a popular program. You can register for this. I have all the information for you on WFMYnews2.com. But it's not just doctors. I know I specifically mentioned the shortage of physicians in 9 years, but nurses, CNAs, every healthcare profession is really worried about what's going to happen once these people retire.
That's a lot of numbers. But it's great that they're having events like this so kids can get exposure. Exposure is key so they can learn more about it and actually be interested in going into that career field.
Right, and a resume builder as well. 8th through 12th graders. Really cool stuff going on. They get to watch like a heart dissection. Ooh. If that's your thing.
Maybe we can log on and see a session.
I want to know what it looks like. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. Interesting. Mics are up.
Hey, Facebook.
Hey, Facebook.
Brad must have heard your request.
Yeah, we're just trying to get our spots right. We got a new we got new things to figure out.
What do do you need to figure out, Jalen? What's on your mind?
Where to
friend?
stand is great.
Right there looks great. I will be your guide.
Thanks. I feel so much more secure.
You should. I've given tours before.
That's supposed to comfort me?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
And to your right, you'll see the table. To your left, you'll see camera 3.
And if you notice, there's a large 2 in the center.
Looks like a helicopter pad.
It
You can
kinda does.
land right on it.
Graduations continue this week for Guilford County School seniors, and one graduating senior from Northeast Guilford High School shares her story of courage and determination. Despite a genetic disease that limits her mobility, she continues to find ways to accomplish her goals.
I'm really excited. It's been a long journey.
Trust the process. That's the motto Northeast Guilford High senior Anslyn Wright lives by.
So whether that's in your education, your personal life, whatever it may be, you're always gonna have a successful outcome as long as you just trust the process.
Anslyn is an active and outgoing student. She participates in Girl Scouts, Future Business Leaders of America, and the women's ministry at her church. Saturday, she will graduate with honors.
I've loved my time at Northeast. I feel like the staff, they always encourage the students to be as successful as possible. They want the best for us.
But the road to success hasn't been easy. Anslyn suffers from a form of muscular dystrophy. The genetic disease confines her to a wheelchair and requires her to receive assistance from a full-time nurse.
I have to figure out different ways to do certain things that just come naturally to most people.
Despite her limitations, she says with the help of her family, she's managed to adapt to any situation.
They always want the best for me. They do any and everything in their power to make sure that I'm successful.
And as she starts a new chapter of her life, she says her goal is to continue to trust the process and be as independent as possible.
So Anslyn plans to attend Guilford Technical College with a major in medical office administration, medical billing, and coding.
How inspirational is that?
What a
I
story.
mean, so awesome. And just like her strength and perseverance, but also that she wanted to give a shout out to all the people who helped her along the way. I loved that.
Man, just a story of perseverance, dedication, such a fighter, hard worker. I have so many words that I can use to describe this young lady. I'm just super proud Miss Anslyn was able to accomplish this and has more to accomplish in her life.
And I love that motto, trust the process. If you work hard and have faith, you can do anything. And graduations continue this week and to next week.
All right, one final check of the weather with Tim.
Yeah, that's right. We're watching the radar very closely today. Of course, the Hoppers are trying to play a ball game downtown. The skies are looking a little brighter at the moment. We just got poured on for quite a while. Now it's a lot lighter than it was. You can see Greensboro dealing with some lighter showers now, but there's plenty of heavy rain to the west. You look over here, Stokes County, Surrey County, coming down in sheets at the moment. It's still trekking across the region. We're going to be watching everything all the way through the evening hours. Still a chance of some severe thunderstorms. Stay tuned. We've got much more coming up. News 2 at 5 starts in a few minutes.
submitted into 1, 2, 3, 4. WFMY News.
Hey there, I am going back.
Hi there, Oklahoma, Oregon,
This Mexican street corn burger.
Oh, it's so
Hello. Hi there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That was really upset.
Hi, mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Of course it falls off and asks for a mic check. Hold on one second, The mic fell off. Mic check 1, 2, 3, 4. Coach K is leaving us. I hate it. It's so sad. Mic check 1, 2.
You get to see Aunt Maddie on Wednesday? What?
It's time for my 2 cents. Today, June 3rd, is a special day for my family. It's the day that my sister had my twin nieces, Rory and Penelope. I know most of you have heard me talk a lot about them over the past 365 days, maybe a little too much, how their perfect blessings bring so many people so much joy and are stinking adorable. Rory was born just a few minutes before her sister. She's inquisitive, active, and she loves to dance to Baby Shark. Penelope is a ham, loves to take the phone out of my sister's hands when we FaceTime, and her smiles are so big. They are their own little people with distinct personalities, but are connected in a way that most don't understand. My parents and I stood outside of the hospital with signs to welcome them into the world. No visitors were allowed in the hospital because of the COVID restrictions. I stared at my phone screen, waiting for pictures of them in the hospital and set in anticipation for when they'd be able to come home. I haven't been able to see them as much as I'd like in their first year. They live in Texas and travel's been a bit tricky during the pandemic, but each time I do see them in video calls or in person, it's that much more special. My sister and I have such an outstanding relationship, one that's different from any other, and I already see that in Rory and Penelope. They hold hands, play together, and I can already tell they recognize the importance of sisterhood. They even wanted their new birthday baby dolls to be twins this morning. I have to say, being an aunt is one of the greatest joys of my life. It's only been a year of a lifetime of moments that my family will have with Rory and Penelope, but it has been the best year. Happy birthday, girls. That's my 2 cents. That's your 4 to 5. WFMY News 2 at 5 starts now.
We are on storm watch right now on WFMY News 2 at 5 o'clock. Some areas have already seen some heavy downpours and strong winds.
Chief Meteorologist Tim Buckley is tracking the radar. Tim, where are the storms heading now?
Changes all the time. You know, just about 20 minutes ago, I had to go inside here at the station because we had thunder, lightning, and downpours. Now that's not the case. So let's take a look and show you how different it is from place to place. High Point's been getting soaked. Burlington has too. Greensboro just got in on the action. Winston-Salem, it's been sunny practically all day long. You see some of the clearing in Greensboro. This is not the case where it's one and done. Instead, we're still going to have to watch throughout the rest of the evening, even into the overnight a little bit. This is winding down that line of storms that popped up over central Guilford County, right along I-85 down toward Thomasville. It's fizzled, now just a couple of sprinkles. Burlington, you're getting a break in the rain now. Some very beneficial rain today in Alamance County. We saw the same in Randolph so far. Here's another line to the west, looking at Surrey, Yadkin, Stokes counties. Some of these areas picking up a ton of rain really quickly. This is just north of Hanging Rock State Park. But here's the really good news. So far, no severe thunderstorms today in our area, and we hope to keep it that way, but there still will be that risk. The main action still over in Tennessee, so we're not going to be able to sound the all clear until late tonight. You look at Futurecast, by 11 o'clock we still could have some storms moving our way and maybe even lingering while we're trying to get some sleep. So it could be a little bit of a noisy night with some rainfall and some thunder and lightning. We'll let you know, of course, if there are any warnings issued. For Friday plans, the morning, a little showery, but the afternoon should be A-OK. Partly cloudy, low to mid 80s tomorrow afternoon. That's your Friday. We'll have your weekend coming up in a few.
Thank you, Tim. Rockingham County Schools has postponed its graduation ceremonies for Moorhead High and McMichael High tonight because of the storm chances. Both have been rescheduled for tomorrow, which means that all 4 traditional high school graduations will be held on the same day. Stay on top of the weather anytime on WFMYnews2.com and also on our free app. There you'll find the latest weather alerts, the radar, the 7-day forecast, and more.
Well, personal cars, trucks, church buses, school buses, they've all been targets of thieves looking for catalytic converters.
WFMY News 2's Adoria Chumba found out it's now hurting kids' summer plans.
Officials here at the Salvation Army Boys and Girls Club in Winston-Salem say vandals have been targeting their activity buses, but they're not after the buses. Instead, they're after the catalytic converters.
One of our vans, I was getting ready to go somewhere, and there was a loud noise, and I knew something was wrong. And sure enough, they had stolen it off of that van. And then when we went to check, there was 2 buses that were stolen at the same time.
4 incidents and 6 catalytic converters stolen from buses at the Boys and Girls Club in Winston-Salem. Experts say catalytic converters are valuable because of the precious metals inside. And it's not just costing money to replace, it's set to prevent children from going on field trips this summer.
Because we've been in COVID for a whole year, our children missed field trips last year, so they're really looking forward to field trips this summer.
Authorities also say catalytic converters are easy to steal and hard to trace. Some of the children here say they're disappointed about the thefts.
If you want something, you should just build it or buy it, but not stealing, because stealing is wrong. We raised a lot of money to get all this stuff, and now we don't have it because y'all took it.
Officials say 2 buses are being repaired, but they fear the vandals will strike again.
And if this continues to happen, we're not going to be able to pick up, and that's an interruption for our parents of them having to find a way to get their children if we cannot pick them up.
And if we find out who did it, it's just going to be more trouble for y'all. So please don't do it again.
Police are still investigating the incidents. In Winston-Salem, Adoria Chumba, WFMY News 2.
Well, when it comes to a catalytic converter theft, if your catalytic converter is stolen, repairs could cost thousands of dollars and repair parts are backlogged because of the pandemic. Even more reason to protect your car.
Simply purchasing a small engraving tool and engraving the last 8 of your VIN number or at least your license plate number into the catalytic converter.
And get this, you can also spray paint it or buy a steel cable or chain to make it harder to steal. And when in doubt, park in the garage or in a well-lit parking lot.
Postmaster General Louis DeJoy from Greensboro is under investigation by the Department of Justice. His spokesperson confirmed the DOJ is looking into political donations made while DeJoy was the head of a company right here in the Piedmont Triad. The Washington Post also reports that federal authorities subpoenaed DeJoy and interviewed current and former workers at his former employer, New Breed Logistics in Guilford County. 2 Wants to Know is digging into the claims. A full report is coming up on WFMY News 2 at 6.
Our state's county alert map is looking much better these days. This color-coded map shows a county-by-county breakdown of how the virus is spreading. You'll notice there isn't any red, which is great because that is the worst level. Orange is the worst on this map, followed by dark yellow, light yellow, and green. The state says 41 of our counties, nearly half, have improved in the past 2 weeks. 4 counties have gotten worse. Yadkin is one of them. You'll be surprised when you see 2 recent side-by-side maps coming up tonight at 6.
Wake Forest Baptist infectious disease specialist Dr. Christopher Uhl says people are still coming into the hospital for COVID-19.
We still have people in the hospital with COVID, and we're still admitting patients with COVID to the hospital. Not as many as we were in the first part of April or the last part of March. But we're still running people in the ICU, and more than a handful sometimes.
He did say they have not seen any COVID patients with a normal immune system who have been vaccinated admitted into the ICU.
More money has been allotted to North Carolina for the HOPE program. It gives rent and utility assistance to eligible renters. Well, this round of help is different from the last, and we know that you have questions about it. Coming up at 5:30, an expert from the state will be joining us to break it all down and also answer your questions too. Just text those questions to 336-379-5775. We get you answers starting at 5:30.
Duke basketball head coach Mike Krzyzewski spoke today for the first time about his retirement decision.
The news broke yesterday that the upcoming basketball season will be his last. WFMY News 2's Luke Liddon was in Durham when Coach K made it official.
Yeah, I got to be honest, it's still a little weird knowing Duke men's basketball will be without its biggest icon after next season and beyond, and head coach Mike Krzyzewski. This really seems to be the beginning of the end for the Coach K era as he held his retirement press conference earlier today. And for the world of college basketball, it's still a little hard to accept, right? The amount of accolades this legend earned over his 40-plus year career are truly mind-blowing, which is evident in the rafters here inside Cameron Indoor. Yet Coach made it very clear he wouldn't be in this position without one key attribute and those around him: belief.
Strong belief. Throughout the years, it was a little bit easier to believe in me, and every day I had an opportunity to be with the best.
And for Blue Devil Network senior producer Nolan Ellenberg, he's been lucky enough to have spent time around two of the greatest basketball coaches around. Freddie Johnson with Greensboro Day back in high school, and now Coach K for nearly the last decade. It's no surprise he caught several similarities between both coaching legends over the years.
I think they're very similar because they're such great teachers, and I think they probably think of themselves as teachers first and basketball coaches second. And just the relationships that they've developed with their players along the years is very unique.
Cool is that a Greensboro native able to be surrounded by such greatness at the high school and college basketball level. It really doesn't get much better than that. Be sure to keep it right here on WFMY News 2 as we'll hear much more from Coach K, and his current players coming up at 6 o'clock. We'll see you then.
Wow, 41 years at Duke. With Coach K leaving after the 2021-22 season, who will be taking his place? The university has already made their pick. WFMY News 2's Amanda Ferguson shares how Duke did not go far to find his successor.
Big shoes to fill. The leader of Duke basketball, Mike Krzyzewski, retiring after this upcoming season. His associate head coach, Jon Scheyer, set to take over. How do they compare? They both got Duke's head coaching job at 33 years old. When Scheyer takes over, he'll be 35. Both also accustomed to winning and doing it together. As a player for Duke, Scheyer was a part of its national championship team in 2010. He was the Blue Devils' leading scorer that year, too. Scheyer went on to play overseas before returning to Coach K's bench as an assistant 4 years later, winning another national championship together in 2015, eventually turning into Coach K's associate coach 3 years later. He was also a part of some of these Coach K's accomplishments over the years, including 5 national titles, 1,170 wins, 12 Final Fours, and 15 ACC titles. Coach K expects Duke's success to continue when he's done, and he believes Shire can do it.
John's done everything. You know, and in the last few years, we've taken it up to another level. He's one of the smartest coaches in the country, to be quite frank with you. Nobody knows that as well as I know it.
Now, even though he was young, Coach K came to Duke with 5 years of head coaching experience on his resume. This will be Shire's first head coaching job. But Coach says he didn't want anyone on his staff who didn't want to eventually become a head coach.
All right, thanks, Amanda. We'll have more on Coach K's retirement, plus what's next for the team on WFNY News 2 at 6 and on our free WFNY News 2 app.
This is the time of year when wearing sunscreen is especially important, but recent tests show some popular brands might contain a cancer-causing chemical. What you need to know before buying your next bottle. Next.
Hi guys, ice cold milk and an Oreo cookie. You put the sunscreen on to protect yourself from sunburn and from developing skin cancer. But recently, tests showed that some sunscreens contained a chemical linked to blood cancers like leukemia. Valisure, an online pharmacy and lab, tested products and found benzene, a known carcinogen, was in 27% of the sprays and the lotions that they tested. And this includes products sold by Neutrogena, Banana Boat, CVS, and many more. Now, when I first heard this, my question was, why in the world would these companies put that ingredient into their product? And the answer is, well, they're not.
There's no manufacturer that's intentionally adding it to the sunscreen product. Somehow it's in there as a contaminant. It's not clear how it gets in there. Is it one of the ingredients that got contaminated? Is it the process of making the lotion or the after sun product that somehow creates it? We're not sure.
So I want to make sure that you're really clear on this. It's not like you're going to go be able to pick up your sunscreen at home or at the store and read the ingredients list and see the word benzene. This is all about testing to see if somehow the benzene, that contaminant, gets in there. The FDA says it is reviewing Valishure's testing. In the meantime, Valishure has made its petition public, and on pages 12 through 15, you can see all the products that they say had detectable benzene levels. I'm putting this list for you in the Two Wants to Know section right now.
Checking about our forecast for today, we predicted a high of 80 degrees, a little bit more cloud cover, a little bit more humid. 80 was my forecast. The actual has chimed in at 81 degrees, so extending our accuracy streak to 13 days. Going into Friday, a few showers possible for the morning, but the afternoon should be mostly sunny and getting a little warmer. Not much, but just a little bit. 83, that'll be your high for tomorrow, and of course you can hold me to that. Tracking a lot of rain in eastern North Carolina, but unfortunately for us, we've stayed mainly dry so far today. What about these severe thunderstorm warnings? We'll talk about this and your weekend right after this break. Welcome back. We've been watching all day, and you might be saying, Tim, you told me it was going to rain, you told me it was going to storm, and I haven't had anything. I know. There have been some, but they're not everywhere at all times. Let's take a look right now at our Greensboro Sky Camera. About half an hour ago, it was a downpour with thunder and lightning. Now the sun is back out. Having said that, we look at the radar here. Look at who has gotten the most rain today. It's really been eastern North and South Carolina, but more lines are popping up all the time to the west, and this is kind of the back edge. This back edge in Tennessee and Georgia is not going to move through until very early tomorrow morning, kind of in those overnight hours. Zooming in back locally, here's Mount Airy, there's Stokes County. We're seeing some scattered showers and thunderstorms right now near Hanging Rock State Park up to the Virginia line. That's about all I have to track for you locally at the moment. But the rest of the evening could get a little bit more busy. Reason being, we're tracking this cold front getting closer and closer as we go throughout the evening. And like I said, the overnight hours is when we'll have a couple more scattered showers, thunderstorms, and a few, like you see right here, this is around midnight. Some of those could still pack a punch with a damaging wind gust here or there. Now, hopefully that doesn't happen, but I just want you to know that in case there's a warning so you can get to that safe spot and just be inside while that storm passes. If you have plans for tomorrow, and I know a lot of people do, graduations, other things going on, emphasizing morning rainfall, not afternoon rainfall. I really do think it's the first half of the day for Friday. Look here. We even see some good sunshine breaking out for the second half of the day. And if we go into the weekend, here's what I'm thinking. Saturday and Sunday should both be on the dry side, really. And there's a difference too. Saturday and Sunday are both hot, but Saturday should not be quite as humid. We look at lower humidity for a change on Saturday, and then Sunday kind of cranking up the heat, cranking up the summertime humidity a bit. But I have removed the rain chance for both of those days. Not to kind of backtrack, but here's tomorrow. We're around 70 in the morning with a couple of scattered showers. They'll continue through about 9, 10 or so, and then we'll see them taper off. The afternoon looks fine. Low to mid 80s. Looking at the 7-day forecast, that rain chance for tomorrow only for the morning. Weekend looking mainly dry. Going into next week, this is what I call June in the Piedmont. It's also called July in the Piedmont and August in the Piedmont. We're in the upper 80s, close to 90 each and every day. And each afternoon, we'll be tracking it for you. There might be a couple of those pop-up pesky summertime storms. We'll continue to watch the radar even behind the scenes for you this evening. And if anything starts to look big and bad, we'll be the first to let you know about it on air and on social media. Stay with us.
So, okay.
A pack of crackers. It was not a great one.
The North Carolina House passes a bill to end federal unemployment benefits of $300 a week. The proposal will eliminate these extra benefits 30 days after the bill becomes law. Some say the unemployment boost is a disincentive to work. Others say the benefits have been crucial for many people, especially women who are struggling to provide childcare for their kids. This bill now heads to the Senate. A great way to find a job is by attending a job fair. The Greensboro Coliseum Complex and the new Stephen Tanger Center for the Performing Arts will be holding one next Wednesday. Jobs include ticket sellers, parking lot attendants, ushers and maintenance staff, and more. The job fair will be from 3 p.m. until 8 p.m. at the Field House at the Greensboro Coliseum Complex on June 9th.
We have some high praise for North Carolina A&T and its MBA program. According to U.S. News and World Report, our local HBCU is home to one of the top MBA programs in the country. The students that graduate from the program are employed within 3 months. That's a higher rate than prestigious universities like Harvard and Stanford. Dr. Eric Gladney is the director of the MBA program and thanks two things for the students' success.
It's a combination of the academic rigor that we have here within the curriculum of the MBA program, integrated with the nurture that we give our students.
The average first-year salary for a student that completes the program, it's north of $77,000. We'll be right back.
All the talking points first, and then we'll get into that. Yes, Callie? Okay. You need one more mic check from Laura. This person says, if my income hasn't changed, but I'm having a hard time paying rent, will Hope help?
If you can prove a financial impact, it doesn't have to be an income impact, but a financial impact from COVID, yes, we can check your eligibility.
All right, so that's one of the questions.
Okay,
they got your mic check through there. Yes, I believe we'll do the videos in order. I'm going to go through them now. Let's see. The first one is the map. The first one that we have is the map, which shows all the different counties where this second round of Hope money goes. For the longest time, Guilford and Forsyth were the only ones that kind of had money. Now it's the surrounding counties, so you can talk about that kind of thing. Let's see. Okay. So that is the first one. The second one is how much has been awarded already, and that's for the second round of Hope, or do you have first and second numbers? Okay, so go ahead and do those. So we have that. And then I have, what is the definition of very low income? Let's see, what else do I have? And I'm going to tee you up on each one of these. I'm going to say, all right, let's talk about this. That way the graphic will come up and then you'll start talking as the graphic is there so people can hear and see kind of what we're talking about at the same time. Then I have what will you get? Like, what are the things? Is it 12 months? Is it for utilities? Is it for rent?
Two weeks ago, North Carolina opened a second application period for the HOPE program using funding from the American Rescue Plan. And I'm pleased to announce that checks are already on their way to landlords and utility companies.
It's to help keep the lights on and keep the rent up to date. Just 24 hours ago, the governor made it a point to make sure that folks knew that there is help for paying rent and utilities. More money has been allotted to the North Carolina HOPE program. Now, how do you get that help? What if you've already put in an application? These questions are what we're focused on today. North Carolina Office of Recovery and Resiliency Chief Operating Officer Laura Hogshead is joining us to answer your questions. Now, this is how you get one of your questions to her. You text us your questions. You text the number 336-379-5775 and you'll type in your question. Remember, this is a text only, so please don't call, but we do want to get your questions to Laura. All right, Laura, first and foremost, this is the second round of HOPE money, and this is for different counties than the counties that were in for that first round. So let's talk about that.
That's correct. So the first round was statewide, and this second round of money, some counties, the larger counties in North Carolina, 12 counties and 5 tribal governments received their own allocation. So they are running their own programs. So the second round of the HOPE program is for the 88 counties that did not receive their own allocation.
Okay, so we're talking about more of our counties around Guilford and Forsyth. Guilford and Forsyth have their own city and county things, and we're talking about all the other counties. They are now eligible for the HOPE program, which they were not before.
They were eligible before, but we were, frankly, all of the metro areas were a lot of the applicants. So now we are able to focus on those suburban and rural communities.
All right, so let's talk about how much has been allocated in Part 1 and in Part 2.
So in Part 1 last fall, we took in over 40,000 applications and we awarded over 36,000 families for $133 million. And as of our opening a couple of weeks ago, we have now awarded just over $10 million in the second round of funding.
Okay, so $10 million in the second round of funding has already been awarded. Okay, so let's talk about now what the definition is of very low income, because this is rent and utility help for those who are very low income.
That's right. So the very low income definition is 50% or below of area median income, and that is calculated by county. So